News with Gina.
The News with Gina Grad.
Hold on, Max Spada. More homework for you. Brad Evans just kind of blew past it, but he was talking about Mustard or whatever, who ran and got
Ray Mustard.
Got the record for most. Was he got the most yards?
I think it was. Yeah,
like 220 yards, whatever it is.
Game, yeah.
He's like, here's a guy who was on another team. He's bounced around from team to team. Could have been a professional surfer. Blah, blah, blah. And he went to revive it. He was a professional surfer?
Yeah, that was shocking when I learned that.
You got to look that up. I don't see many brothers in the league toting the rock who could have been a professional surfer.
He's a surfing enthusiast. I don't know if he ever competed, but he loves surfing. And
ESPN says former surfer now because his new contract forbids him from catching waves.
Oh, really? Yeah. Interesting. All right.
Well, we're speaking about Kobe and give you a couple of updates. The NTSB, that's the National Transportation Safety Board, officials said Tuesday that the helicopter that crashed Sunday, killing Kobe, his daughter, and 7 others, did not have a terrain warning system that could have alerted the pilot he was nearing a hillside in Calabasas, California. So, according to NTSB investigator Jennifer Homendy, the chopper was at an altitude of 2,300 feet when it ceased communication with the air traffic controllers. At the time of the impact, the descent rate of the helicopter was more than 2,000 feet per minute. The helicopter was at an elevation of 1,085 when it made contact with the hillside. And even if the chopper had avoided that area, there were still higher hills ahead. Meanwhile, it was recommended 16 years ago that the FAA require all helicopters carrying 6 or more people to be equipped with terrain warning systems. But Homendy said the FAA failed to act.
I don't get something. It was initially at 2,400?
23. Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, I was right around there.
Yeah, you sure were.
So it was at 2,300 feet, sea level, from sea level.
Sea level, right.
Right. And then it went down, it dropped about 1,200 feet before it hit something, right? Because it hit at 1,100 feet.
Yeah, about 1,100.
Yeah. Well, that's the way I roll it.
Yep.
Okay. So, terrain warning would have been good, but why did it drop?
Well, who knows? I mean, they said this is going to take 12 to 18 months.
But what I'm saying is it dropped at a rate of, you said 2,000 feet per
minute.
Per minute. 2,000 feet per minute. Now, how much is that for a helicopter? Like, is that no power falling out of the sky? Because a minute's kind of a long time.
Yeah.
2,000 feet is not that great. So now what happened was it didn't fall 2,000 feet in a minute. It fell at the rate of 2,000 feet in a minute. It actually fell in about 40 seconds, 1,300 feet or 1,200 feet or whatever it is. But if he had like catastrophic mechanical failure and just fell, then the terrain sensor wouldn't have helped one way or the other, right?
It just whirly-bird down.
You just fell down.
Right.
They also have that reverse gyroscope thing, which is an interesting thing. So this must have been catastrophic failure because they'll do the reverse spin on the rotors and save themselves. If they lose power, they just start coming straight down, they just change the angle of the blades. These guys, they practice it all the time when they just go up there and like cut the engine and then flip the blades and they get them spinning the other way. It's a crazy thing. But how much? Yes,
I might be off by a little bit, but the little research that I just now free fall, like just free fall, is 12,000 feet per second.
Right. So 2,000. Oh wait, per
free
minute.
Fall in
per minute. It's not per second. Yeah, obviously I'm wrong.
All right.
Per minute. Yes,
per minute. So this is 12,000 feet per minute versus 2,000 feet per minute.
So they probably had some power, some rotor.
So this is not falling out of the sky.
This is not a nosedive.
You're right. So and 2,000 versus 12,000. I mean, this is. I don't. What I'm saying is, like, I don't know if this is in the realm of an evasive maneuver or something like that. Right. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't sound like it's not a free fall. It's movement under power.
Feel free to fact check me. Just real quick.
I'll be curious.
Calculations.
Well, we'll figure it out. But I don't. I don't know what the terrain. Maybe he was moving down quick to get out of the.
Right, and remember, like
he said he wanted to get under the cloud.
Yes, the fog was insane, and trying to figure out whether you get above it or below it, and for whatever reason, a no terrain warning signal, not being able to see that there's something right in front of you. This is all going to come out soon, I imagine.
Whenever I hear these accidents, here's what I pray. I always just pray that the people had the most limited amount of terror possible. Right. And when I hear about the jetliner at 36,000 feet losing or whatever and took 10 minutes to get to the ground, I feel horrific for those people. I hope that they were in a cloud bank, that they were moving around and just hit the ground and died. And the people inside were unaware of what was going on. That's what I would pray.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, speaking of that, Stephen Colbert returned to The Late Show Tuesday night after having Monday off.
Max written me a note that says, not equipped with a terrain awareness and warning system.
I said that.
Yes. We're not asking that. Okay.
But this actually does apply. So he was on Tuesday, took a moment to
There was not a terrain aware.
Thank you. He took a moment to discuss the tragic death of Kobe Bryant and his own strange connection to the helicopter crash, which killed all
his
9
dad
on board.
And his brother, right?
There you go.
I lost my father and 2 of my brothers when I was a boy to a plane crash that was also in heavy fog. And one of the terrible things about that shock and the heartbreaking unreality, nightmare quality of someone huge in your life who just disappears, the center of your love disappearing in that moment, is not knowing what happened.
So in the crash,
I don't know.
killed...
Do you guys? I feel the not knowing what happened part right up there with when people go like, "I don't care that you cheated. It's that you cheated with Luann." It's like I'm always saying it's more the cheating part. Like now, the part where they never find the airliner, that's not satisfying.
Right.
The part where they're dead because there was fog and they hit a mountain, I think that's what happened.
Do you think there's a difference between how a kid thinks, how an adult thinks? Because Stephen Colbert was a little kid, and as adults, I feel the same as you. It's like, I don't really want to know.
You know
I don't want all the details.
It might be, maybe it's a gender thing. I've said this to 1,000 girls after breakups. I said, I know you're really upset, and I think most of the reason you're upset is because you don't know why. You don't know why you're not still together. Mm-hmm. And I think that once there's some clarity on the differences between what you want and what this person wants, you'll be able to move on a lot faster than just hanging on to the confusion and the mystery of why me? Why am I getting broken up with?
Yeah, maybe he was speaking through the voice of the 11-year-old Stephen Colbert, but the sort of like, what happened? We'll never know what happened. To me, whether it's Colbert's dad or Kobe, I feel like we do know what happened, and it's tragic.
Well, he does go on to make this point. So in the crash that killed his father and brother, the plane's black box was able to provide answers and enact new cockpit rules for planes that are now used in totally different safety standards. He added that helicopters do not have black boxes and called on the NTSB to take action, quote, to make sure that there are some ways to record what is happening in these helicopters so it doesn't happen as often. So if we knew, we could fix it.
Well, look, I completely agree that after a loss that is senseless, if you go, but from this day forward, they had terrain sensing devices that were retrofitted to all helicopters. Then there's a sense of, well, we lost our loved ones, but maybe we spared the lives of others or whatever. That part I get.
So, speaking of planes, the deepening coronavirus in China is leading to some extreme measures being taken to prevent the spread of the virus.
It's the best time. I've said, I've said, never been a better time to be an actual racist. You can just hide in plain sight. Never been a better time to have herpes at an airport.
Do tell.
Well, you get that big herpes blister, and you got to go out of LAX on a Friday.
All sideways looks.
Passing masses of humanity. Maybe there's a TMZ guy there. You know what I mean?
You don't want to be on camera that way.
Throngs of society.
Yep.
What about that move when you're going through security and she looks down at the license and then up at your big herpes store and then back down at the license? Going, something different. Where's Where's your herpes? Right. It's just face contact. Face, sitting in seats, walking down the aisle of the airplane.
The leers, the
everybody's
jeers.
sitting in coach. You're in the back of the plane, going to the Starbucks, waiting in line. Eyeballs. A mass of salmon going upstream. You're walking eyeballs.
Yeah. If only, what could be done?
You put that mask on.
Yes.
No one's ever like, I bet that guy's not a germaphobe.
No.
I bet that guy's got full-blown herpes.
No way.
Let me see your soup cooler.
They think you're
Prove it.
No,
conscientious.
prove it. You put that bad boy on,
Good for you,
You're one of the
man.
good guys.
right on through the airport,
Right this way,
right
sir.
through. And later on, when you're picking up the streetwalker, hey, man,
Could be
play it
worse.
safe.
Can't be too safe around a joint.
Never been a better time to have herpes
That's well said.
and go to an airport.
Yes,
Footnote,
sir.
Never.
With all the herpes medication commercials and everyone apparently has herpes, according to Dr. Drew, I've never in my adult life seen anyone with a herpes sore, like an outbreak. Do you guys ever see anyone with just like a sore? Or,
Yeah, I've seen it.
Do you do?
I've had it.
Oh, you
I've seen
motherfucker,
it.
you're setting my point.
No, it's not. No, it's weird. There's a weird thing going on. When I grew up, like what you're saying, dandruff shampoo was always a guy, good-looking guy with the black hair, the blonde
His
chick.
Selsun or his head and
Yeah.
shoulders.
Now the only dandruff shampoo I see are black athletes doing head and shoulder stuff, which is
Interesting.
weird. I
There's
never
no dandruff talk.
I don't think of like 23-year-old guys in the NBA with afros
Yeah.
with dandruff, but
all Troy Polamalu.
but I don't see any. It's all dandruffy. It's brothers now.
Interesting.
The Head and Shoulders
Different
gone to the
market.
brothers. It used to be, it was the realm of Whitey.
Yeah.
It never existed when I
Right.
was. Yeah, anyway.
So
No,
here's-
I don't see it as much. I do see it on occasion, and I still say no better time to travel.
You're right. And British Airways announced it is grounding all direct flights to and from China because of the outbreak, which is already blamed for 132 deaths and climbing, apparently, and has sickened at least 6,000 people. Almost all the deaths have occurred in the city of Wuhan, China. Meanwhile, hundreds of Americans were evacuated from China on a government plane, which landed in Alaska this morning. They'll be screened for symptoms and then flown to California, where they will be quarantined for a while.
Well, they have it better in the homeless. So
No,
they got
that's
that
true.
going for them.
And just in case you're wondering if you have coronavirus, so I can make everyone super paranoid, typically symptoms include fever, fatigue, sore throat, dry cough. So it's very hard to tell if you have a cold or the flu or coronavirus. It did start mutating, so it did transfer from animals to people. They think they can probably trace it back to either, and somebody would have had to either consume it, I imagine, possibly be bit by it, bats or snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys ever see the movie Contagion?
Yep.
Came out like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
We were just talking about the movie, yeah.
That's a really underrated movie. I
about-
really like that movie.
Better or worse than Outbreak?
Much better.
Ooh.
Much better.
Yeah, who was in it?
A whole huge cast. Matt Damon, what's her face? Goop Girl.
Gwyneth
Gwyneth Paltrow,
Yep.
Jude Law.
Yeah, big
Kate
cast.
Winslet.
Big cast.
Wait, Kate Winslet was in Outbreak too, right?
Was she?
I got to see it.
She gets a
It's
reputation.
a Steven Soderbergh movie. It's really good. I like quite a bit.
All right.
Okay. So in this era of wokeness, the 90s sitcom Friends have been criticized for not being woke enough. Now, in an interview with The Guardian, Friends star David Schwimmer defends the show, which had plot lines like Chandler worrying about being perceived as gay, Ross asking a male nanny if he's gay, jokes about Monica's weight. The actor who played Ross argues that Friends, and he just dismissed it wholesale and said, no. It was groundbreaking in its time for the way in which we handled so casually sex and protected sex and gay marriage and relationships. He reminded everyone that in the pilot was about his wife leaving him for another woman. There was a gay wedding his character attended. Schwimmer says, quote, "The problem today is that so little is taken in context. You have to look at it from the point of view of what the show was trying to do at the time." He also adds that he lobbied for his character to date a woman of color. Of course, that was the Aisha Tyler arc. And as far as a reunion for the show, he admits that he doesn't think that's possible.
Fuck the woke scolders, because
New
sitcoms,
term.
Yeah.
you can't have, it's like going, these guys made a Western. Where were the cell phones? It's like, well, they didn't have them. And the thing has to sort of capture where we are.
Right. Historical context.
So, right. So if you're, like, well, why wasn't Lucy married to a black man? It's like, because we didn't that wasn't what the culture wouldn't accept it.
They were already freaking out about a Cuban man.
Right. So sitcoms have to capture the culture at the time we're there. So if the deal is wearing a two-piece bikini is very extraordinary during this time in our culture, then that must be acted out in the sitcom.
Right.
If gay marriage doesn't exist or being mistaken for gay is something in the culture, then that's what the sitcom has to do. The sitcom has to be in line with the culture as it goes. Now, sometimes you can go, well, Ellen came out as a lesbian in or whatever, and the culture was getting to that place, and she jumped ahead a step, but not 10 steps. Well, otherwise, it's confusing and off-putting to people that don't know what it is, because it's supposed to be what 25-year-olds in our culture are thinking about the way they talk and the way they do things.
Right. And we're allowed to say, ooh, that didn't age well, but we're not allowed to condemn the person now.
No.
And, the same thing happened with Will and Grace. Talk about groundbreaking, the mainstream show about, upstanding, great citizens, gay people. This is just, it was a groundbreaking show. That show took a ton of heat for saying words that we don't say on sitcoms now. People.
What words?
Oh, people, a lot of people in the gay community. Right. They raked RuPaul over the coals. RuPaul, who did more for the drag community, the gay community, the trans community than any other person I can think of off the top of my head, for saying the word tranny, for, things that were kind of, maybe an inside joke on her show, whatever. You can't go after RuPaul, who's a pioneer for the people that she's trying to help. Between Will and Grace and RuPaul, it's like, why are we eating our own?
Because the movement works that way. All movements eat their own. That's how movements work. They start with this good intention, and then at some point they kind of run out of the actual foe that they're fighting against, and then they just start micro eating their foe. You see it all the time.
Really frustrating.
When Martina Navratilova says, hey, I don't think people that were born biologically as males should be competing against women. It's not good for women. Then she gets destroyed. Right. It's like, wait a minute. She's the champion of women. And this is a person that has gotten to the octagon or onto the tennis court or onto the track court and is whooping up on women. So not only does it eat its own, it gets the script all backwards and screwed up. Wait, this is a champion for women's causes who's speaking out on behalf of women.
Yeah.
Not being beat by biological men who've transitioned into being women. And she's out of the club?
Well, and at the very least, you can say, okay, that's an interesting thing that you just brought up. Let's look at the stats. Let's look at the science. Let's see. But to just say, I'll hear nothing of it and you're out, debate it. If there's stats saying actually when you start the hormone therapy, it's not, have that conversation instead of just you out.
How dare you bring it up?
Right. Whatever the end result ends up being.
The part where you sit down and have a thoughtful discussion on something, that's not the business. They're not in that business. They're in the shun business. They're not in the sit down. And by the way, this is an argument they could very well lose. They're not in that business. They're not in the business of losing an argument, so they're not in the business of having an argument, because they lose all the arguments because the data just doesn't support their cockamamie thoughts, but they are in the shunning business, so they get to exercise the shun. They want to shun. And they're not really interested in who they shun. I mean, they start off with Ted Nugent, but they'll work their way down to Martina because they like to shun. Yeah. That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's
100% bullshit.
And nobody ever seems to learn that when you get, for example, just in hypothetical land, Ted Nugent and Martina Navratilova, you have the same ire for both. Well, now they're combined and they become one and they become their own group.
Yeah.
And
Martina Nugent.
And you keep going, well, where's everybody going? Where are all the woke people? Well, guess what? You banned them.
Yes, you're thinning your own herd. You're taking good people. You're also there must be currency. Martina should have enough currency in goodwill in your world to last 5 generations. She makes one comment, she's out. So this notion of you're basically Mother Teresa of the movement and of the lesbian movement, and women's movement, all that stuff. You got 40 years of currency built up. There's one tweet, one interview on ESPN3 gets you booted out of the club. How about all the fucking currency you built up? All the things you've done.
Doesn't matter.
Pioneer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's not a way. It's not a way to run an organization. It's not a way to run a thought process. You can't go through life that way. People.
But boy, they sure do.
Oh man. Well, because they want to get to the shun, not that's the business they're in.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, the big game isn't until Sunday, but as Brian brought up the other day, Super Bowl ads are already hitting the internet, and I have 2 examples for you. These just appeared this morning. The first is Hyundai's.
Now I have 2 narcissistic thoughts. One is my birthday's May 27th, and I'll be driving my car in February, and I go, celebrity birthdays coming up today, and I'll go, please mention me.
Every day, listen.
I always turn it up like, are they going to say me? But they can't say me because it's not my birthday.
Right. But you still think about it?
I hope I'm in one of these Super Bowl ads.
Well, the first one is Hyundai's Smart Pack. It's a commercial with Massachusetts natives Chris Evans, John Krasinski, and Rachel Dratch doing their Boston accents. It's pretty good sound. Here's the first one.
Tight spot.
Look at this guy.
Trying to pull into a tight spot. Yeah.
Hey, Rachel, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
He's not getting that car in there.
No, sir.
Look at these 2 troublemakers.
Hey, Johnny, how are
John
you?
Krasinski.
Wicked car. Is that new?
Yeah, it's a Sonata. Let me pack it.
Oh, you're not fitting your car in there.
Chris, stop being a smarty pants, all right? Look who's got Smart Pack.
Smart Pack?
Just hit the clicker. Car packs itself.
It's smart.
It's wicked smart. And I can pack it anywhere.
How about Dorchester?
Packed it.
Foxborough.
Packed it.
The Garden?
Packed it.
Saugus?
Packed it.
Swampscott?
Revere?
The Harbor?
Are you kidding me? I packed it and then unpacked it.
You unparked it?
Kid.
Game changer.
That Sonata ain't got no driver.
That's all right. He's got smart pack.
Hey, you can back there.
He's got Smart Pack!
Hey, whoa, it's Big Poppy.
Wicked smart.
This is a ghost car.
A better way to park. Only available.
That's kind of funny.
It is funny. And you can also tell that Big Poppy's not an actor from the
2 words.
second and an eighth of time he has on there. Like he's literally can tell everyone is an accomplished comedic actor, and the one has one line to say, and it not nearly as good as
Half
anyone
a line.
else's.
Yeah.
Right.
The other one, they showed a few more, but some were very long and weren't great audio. But this one's fun too. This is Bryan Cranston channeling his inner Jack Nicholson in The Shining for Mountain Dew Zero Sugar commercial. Tracy Ellis Ross stands in for Shelley Duvall.
Come out, wherever you are. I've got new Mountain Dew Zero Sugar with the same refreshing taste as the original, but without any of the sugar. Here's Mountain Dew Zero.
Tracy Ellis Ross.
I am thirsty.
It's pouring through the whatever.
Yeah, like the blood in the commercial. And then he's the twins at the
It's
end.
interesting. I don't know. Well, unnecessary, but interesting.
You got paid.
Who's the actress?
Tracy Ellis Ross, Diana Ross's daughter.
Oh.
That is her daughter, right?
I have no idea.
I believe it is.
It's not the Ross Dress for Less daughter. What, is she on things?
She's on Blackish.
Oh, that's
and,
her.
a few other things, I think.
Oh, she's the mom
She's been
on
around.
Blackish?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
And if I'm getting any of that wrong, Chris, please correct me, but I'm pretty sure. Other commercials are Winona Ryder visiting her birthplace, quote unquote, Winona, Minnesota, and that's for Squarespace. And finally, Bill Murray will reprise his Groundhog Day role of weatherman Phil Connors for a Jeep commercial.
The Super Bowl is on Groundhog's Day.
Oh, that's right.
It is?
February 2nd.
And it's
Perfect.
a leap year, too, right? It is.
That I don't know.
So we'll look forward to those as well on Sunday.
Well, I'm looking for my Budweiser Paul Newman commercial
right.
now.
Bittersweet.
Let's see. Daughter of Diana Ross.
Yeah.
Did not got the same look, same hair. It's got to be a little, I'll tell you something. I may not be any Playgirl centerfold.
What?
But I'm a fair bit better looking than my parents. It's got to be a little rough when your mom is stunning and you're like, yeah, it's cute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
it's
fine.
a lot to live up to.
Because Diana, in her prime, is a stunning woman, right?
Supreme.
Yeah,
and
she's
you're
literally
like,
supreme.
you're attractive.
You're fine.
Gina.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather. I think what you want to do is you want to. I don't know. The dad could have slowed it down a little bit. His dad was what?
Huh? That can't be right.
Silverstein.
Yeah, her real last name's Silverstein.
I don't like this at all.
Wait a minute. Her dad is. He does Triumph the Wonder Dog. What's his name?
What?
He's a music executive.
Oh,
sense,
she
yeah.
got chewed over.
She got Jewed up.
But they were a good-looking couple in their prime.
Got chewed over. I mean, what you needed was Quincy Jones in there, not someone from Gina's tribe pulling her. That first picture.
Some for the Funk Brothers.
Show the first picture of him and what's his name with Triumph the Wonder Dog, Insult Dog. Yeah, because that first,
Smigel?
The first picture is very smigely, but yeah, she got chewed over because
God.
she got Mama, and then
Piping hot.
and they got the executive guy kind of pulled her over this way. What she needed was like Mama and Carl Weathers get together.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know
my
what
God,
I
can you
mean?
imagine
know
that
what I'm
specimen?
saying?
Oh.
Yeah.
She's still a very attractive lady, but you're saying
She's
compared
attractive. She's
to
attractive,
Mom.
but I'm saying they got definitely chewed over.
Well, what
there, but-
about the other side of the coin, Lenny Kravitz?
Oh, yeah.
Perfectly good-looking man.
Well, we don't know what the source material is.
We do.
No, wait, I don't know. I don't know what his parents look like. Is what I'm saying.
Yes,
Well,
you
the
do.
mom was Roxy,
Yeah.
whatever, from
Jeffersons.
the Jeffersons. The mom was hot.
Dad was also a nice Jewish boy, from what I remember.
We'll have to take a look at him.
Kravitz.
You
No, I
normally,
understand that. I'm just saying I don't know.
Oh wow, same smile.
it looks like Smigel and Warren Beatty
yes.
got thrown together in a Cuisinart. So she got chewed over. Normally you get chewed down. So this is a lateral move.
Please stop
you know what I'm
saying chewed
saying? This is chewed
And
over.
so close to Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Oh, is that?
Yeah,
My grandfather
Saw the signs.
play that card.
that's right.
All right.
All right. Well, Dave Chappelle left everybody speculating on Grammy night as people began to notice that he wasn't there to accept his Grammy.
Let me ask you this about Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle can do whatever she wants.
Definitely not a Jew.
He wants whatever he wants. But I do feel like the guys who get to do whatever they want start testing it a little bit. Like Dave Chappelle did a 55-second cameo on the opening of Eddie Murphy
Right,
doing
at SNL.
SNL. Chris Rock came out there and Tracy, and they all came out. And his stage time was probably less than 2 minutes all in.
Yep.
Lit up a cigarette.
Yes, he
Just
did.
Just stood there in front of everybody. There's probably 300 no smoking signs.
Yep.
By the way, let me just say this. Back to my thing where like society kind of goes like, don't say anything to the black guy. Like you don't realize. If that was Jason Alexander, someone would have said, "Hey,
Jason Alexander.
hey, guy, no."
A star of equal stature.
That's right. If that's your standard, all right. I'm saying if that's your standard variety white, I'm telling you, if it's Jerry Seinfeld, someone will tell you you don't.
Excuse me, sir.
You're not smoking. We're indoors. He was.
Wait.
He literally lit up just.
On stage here.
You can't.
See, this is why I came back to Saturday Night Live for moments like this.
Now, part of it's a joke, but he just lights up
But he did.
wherever he is.
How'd they get that past standards and practices? It's
right.
a joke. It's a bit.
You ready for me to shut all over this?
Go ahead.
Slash.
Slash. That's true.
Oh,
but
Slash lights up.
Slash was doing it 25 years
That's right.
ago.
Trailblazer.
He is,
Pioneer.
but I don't know if even Slash could do
pull it off
do
today.
that
Yeah.
anymore. He was doing it like when you could smoke at the bar
Yeah.
Right.
of
And it
a
was also
restaurant and
peak
stuff.
Slash at that
I don't
point.
think he's going into a restaurant pulling that off
Right.
today. Chappelle pulls it off, man. He just lights up.
He's the coolest.
I remember years ago we did a show at in San Diego, and you and Prager sold out the entire theater. It was a packed room, and Prager lights up a cigar mid-show, and they had to halt the show and stop and put out Prager's cigar.
Yeah, he got
So he's
chewed
no
over.
Chappelle.
Yeah, he's no Chappelle.
So I'm only bringing this up because it's so perfect. He was not there to accept his Grammy for Best Comedy Album for Sticks and Stones, but he was in the audience later that evening, and he stuck around. He took pictures backstage. So where was he? Why did Brandi Carlile and Tanya Tucker have to accept his accolade for him? Well, the answer, according to Page Six, is simple. It's one all Californians know. Chappelle's rep said it was nothing more than being caught in traffic in LA. They just couldn't make it in time for him to get there for his category. And he doesn't live here.
I
don't know if he has a house
agree,
here,
and I hate traffic, but you just have to leave early.
He's Dave Chappelle.
He
doesn't do anything.
He's probably smoking. Here's what I want to say. I hopped on, or I told Matt Fondelier, hop on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be in Palm Springs or thereabouts, be up on stage with James Carville. We'll play it for you when we record it. But
it's quite a duo.
It's like, what time do I need to be on stage?
Yeah.
Like 9:30.
AM?
Okay, yes.
Holy moly.
All right, now, find out when we leave. When we leave? We have to leave at 7? How long's the drive at 7? What if we leave the night before? Well, if you leave at 7, it's going to take 3.5 hours to get there. What if we leave at 8? Well, it'll take 3 hours. What if we leave at 10? If you leave at 10, it'll take 2 hours. Check. Well, I was LAX last Friday.
Yep.
Had to be there at 9 a.m. All I did was tell Matt, it's an hour and 15. Okay, I have to leave my house by 7:45. That's all I do is back check. You'd be a fool not to.
It's all available.
It's all available. So in this day and age of like, I was late, I didn't know what time it was or something. It's like everything's got a clock. Everything's got a computer. There's ways up the wazoo.
Right.
You got it. There is.
But doesn't that just make
people will remain to be late?
Yeah.
It's part of who they are.
Yeah.
Late people are late, but just spare everyone the excuses. There are no more excuses anymore. The Waze will tell you exactly, and if the freeway's piled up, it'll tell you how to get off and go around Dodger Stadium.
But I'm filling in a lot of the blanks here with the narrative, but doesn't it make you like him more? Like he's
like
so
him.
Cool. It just propels the myth of like he doesn't care.
I'll tell you.
Sell him traffic. Who cares?
I'll tell you what is cool. It's kind of rich man, poor man, same man, which is, I wasn't at the Grammys, or I wasn't at the Emmys collecting my statue, but I was at the Deli Smoker in Encino doing a set in front of 40 people. When you go from the biggest, the middle's always just the middle, but the coolest ones are like, where's Woody Allen? He's in the Village playing a clarinet for 18 people. Like,
Birdland.
That's so cool. See, it's not only that
Woody Allen's the coolest.
Yeah, he's the best. I wish he was my dad.
Husband.
You have to go from, you could be, you could be in the penthouse with the celebrities, but you're at the soup kitchen with the people. That's
right.
what you want.
That's good. Well, a little bit of a heartbreaking story for Billy Joel. TMZ reports that Billy's beloved motorcycle collection was vandalized over the weekend, and someone broke into his Long Island home, trashed 12 of his bikes.
Oh, they rode him in the rain?
Police say someone broke in through a glass door, ransacked a room housing the bikes, also trashed his
glass houses.
Yeah.
They broke in through.
Yeah. Oh, is this just to promote an upcoming classic album?
Yeah, he's going to replay Glass Houses album.
It's unclear whether Billy was home at the time he discovered the damage on Monday morning, called the police. The extent of the damage unknown, and no suspects. You think he'd have some cameras?
Who vandalizes motorcycles?
Someone with a vendetta.
Well, someone joked, was it his wife who's just been hawking at him to stop riding motorcycles?
Yeah, or something. It just seems like a bizarre, or somebody's high on bath salts or something.
Tried to steal one. They all got knocked over. Who knows?
I'll tell you who's upset. There's that commercial. I think it's a Geico commercial, but there's like Mr. Motorcycle-thon guy. It's a black guy who's morphed into a motorcycle.
I fucking hate those commercials. I hate them. I don't understand them. I've asked for friends I've sat with who are in the industry, like, writers and editors, like, what the fuck is this commercial? Like, I don't know, man. Is it motor? Motor. What the fuck does that mean?
I gotta see this.
That's a punchline based on nothing.
He's like a centaur or something, right? It was a motorcycle.
Like half man, half motorcycle?
Yeah, it's a black man, kind of in the vein of the Old Spice commercial guy, like coming out of the handlebars.
And there's like bewildered children, like asking him, like, what?
Yeah, it's off-putting.
Excuse me. Do you mind being a motor?
What could be better than being a motor? The real question is, do you mind not being a motor?
Fucking said it last year with Puppy Monkey Baby or whatever the fuck it was.
It's a weird
Random
commercial.
is not funny. Based on nothing, the ether is not funny.
They're trying to make
premise.
that. Yeah, that's going to be an ongoing thing.
All right.
Oh, it is. There are several of these.
But what I'm saying is Motor is weeping now after what happened to Billy's collection.
Motor.
Although looking at him, he's probably not a huge Billy Joel fan, but he
You
is
never
a
know.
motorcycle.
That's right.
Hence, Motor.
Motor.
That's his name.
Right.
Yeah, I feel the same way with all this stuff. Like, okay, you can do this and you can do that, but at the end of the day, I want to laugh. I want something. I don't want just you got high,
Mr.
and
Solari.
Put a guy on top of a motorcycle.
And like Motor, like Centaur, but like motor Centaur is not based on man or horse. It's a. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I hate it. And they're everywhere. They're everywhere during football.
I'm bumped too. I don't like it either.
I hate them.
And I admire your passion. Now knock it off. All right.
I'm done.
We ready to take it home, Gina Grad?
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
That was the news with Gina Grad.